What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new series of episode reviews. This is going to be panty and stocking with, well, I guess new panty and stocking with Garterbelt, which is technically season 2 panty and stocking, like over 10 years later. With me as always,
It's more like
with me as always, I have Blue
yeah,
Spade.
it's more like 15 years ever since
Yeah,
the original series.
yeah.
And
I guess a lot of people are probably going to get on me for this. I hadn't really had time to do it, but I didn't get around to watching season 1 before watching this. There is like a brief recap of season 1 before like season 2. And honestly, like I feel like I got like some of what was happening, like, but I'm still like just really lost with like some of like what I guess what apparently went on in season 1. Like I told Blue Spade this before we started recording, is a lot of it reminded me of like FLCL, which makes sense because it's the same studio and it's probably like the same people working on it. It was basically like, I guess, FLCL, but just with mostly just with a lot of sexual humor.
yeah, I mean, well, this has a lot of sexual humor in the storyline. So yeah, this season does finally follow up on that cliffhanger from the last episode from 15 years ago. It was a long way.
That's crazy to me that was how it ended too. Like obviously I didn't know that, but I mean I can't imagine like just having a series like that be left on a cliffhanger like that and just not knowing what happened like with the way it ended. Obviously we do get an explanation as to like what happened, and I guess we kind of get a resolution for it.
Yeah. So okay. So it starts off like the character brief. He gets into this recap of what happened over the course of, I guess, in most of the course of season 1, but in particular, he explains what happened at the end of season 1, where he. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for me to really explain this. I guess in a more, how do I explain this? so,
Well,
it's okay. So briefly says like his thing, like it unlocks Hell's Gate.
all right, yeah,
and then. Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess that was when the two, I guess the succubi came out. Those two like succubus characters.
Yeah, the two demon succubus.
I'm guessing they were maybe like one of the antagonists of season 1, because I mean, Panty and Stocking, I guess, are supposedly supposed to be like angels or fallen angels or something like that.
Yeah, and so like their mission is to like hunt down these demons and then collect these coins, a certain number of coins, to allow them to get back into heaven in a way. So at the end of season 1, they were dealing with like one of the main villains. I think his name is Corset. So at the end, so long story short, they end up winning the battle, but Corset ends up somehow brainwashing Stocking into thinking that she is a demon, and then she ends up cutting Panty into 666 pieces, and ends up taking them all with them. Of course, Garterbelt, Brief, Chuck, Scanty end up like following all the pieces that are just being they just follow a trail of like all the cubes that are just being dropped by Corset.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Corset just keeps upping the ante by upping the ante with the Stocking's brainwashing, which transforms her into a giant kaiju, whatever this thing was.
Yeah.
And then it ends up breaking free of Corset's control, and just starts devouring buildings like she mistakes as as cakes or sweets. And of course things get completely out of hand, and then Garterbelt and the others somehow manage to get like pretty much all the pieces to resurrect Panty. But once she's assembled, like she returns with a more like I guess in a more demure personality, like she was described as a more bitchy person, but like her
Mm.
personality right now is more kinder in a ways. But
Yeah, well,
because of
and
this,
then
like
like
she
the
yeah.
I forget what was the guy's name, like because he's like he was like saying like, oh, I like I don't know if I like this version of her.
It's brief.
Brief, yeah, okay. So like he's having this, I guess he's just having almost like an existential crisis. Like he's trying to figure out like if he should accept this new version of her, or if he really does like this, or if Panty is Panty regardless of her personality or something like that. But I guess the two succubus girls decide that they try to like well, they order like some kind of uh
Like it's some kind of magic potion
yeah.
from hell to grow Penny into like also like a Caillou size, but then the group notices they forgot to add in like one more piece of her, which it's just
Yeah.
okay.
Well, this is well, obviously, like the innuendo is pretty obvious because they can see up her skirt and they see like what part she is missing. But essentially, it's her core, in a way, which it makes up her whole, I guess, her whole personality. Really, like that's her like that part of her that made her herself. That's what she's missing. So they have to like reinsert it back into her.
Yeah, so they end up they end up carrying the damn thing, and the more they carried it, it's just like it has this like that piece has this weird ability to start burning everybody, and Brief is like the only one like left who's more determined to insert the damn thing back into her,
Yeah.
which he finally does, and then Penny ends up like finally becoming herself again, and then she and Stocking engage and in a battle. It's just chaos. It's just like it's just absolute fucking chaos.
Also, like, so
And then,
I actually I get for some reason the series defaults to being dubbed. I guess they're like dubbing it as the episodes come out. But I think I don't know how much of the original cast returned because some people were.
they replaced the entire
Oh, they
cast.
did. Okay, yeah, because some people
Yeah,
were saying like they didn't like the new voice. I guess I think it was Panty because but I haven't heard the original dub, so I can't really compare it. But
the only difference is because like the first season was licensed by Funimation and Crunchyroll back then. This series, of course, is being licensed by Amazon, so it's the reason why they had the whole that change. It, one example is like of course is like what happened with Evangelion, in which like unlike Netflix and stuff, like Amazon also like had a license to that film, but they had to recast at least most of the main most of the cast with the exception of Shinji.
Yeah, I completely forgot how I guess Amazon does this with the series that they have kind of locked behind their platform, as they have like a completely different dub cast, because this happened also with like Vinland Saga too. With the season 1 at least, it wasn't well, season 1 when it came out was not on Crunchyroll, so it had a different dub cast. And then when season 2 came out, it was on Crunchyroll, and it also had like a different dub cast. But season 1, actually no, season 1 Vinland Saga had two completely different dubs, because one was, I think it did end up on Netflix too, and it had a Netflix dub cast, and then it also had an Amazon dub cast. So there's like
I don't know, it's hard. I know I don't really look into the whole like licensing stuff, but it's very very clear that like that Funimation, Crunchyroll, Netflix, and Amazon like do not share the same like I guess the like
dubbing agencies or whatever.
Yeah, the dubbing agencies, because like they even if like they could like bring in some of the original cast members, like it would like I guess like some kind of like contractual obligations or maybe something like that would be the reasons why they had to change the dubs.
Yeah, probably.
In a way, but yeah, it's just like they pretty much everybody got recast in the series. So it's like, I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, it's like, it's
I can
they do
imagine
their
it
best.
being weird hearing like completely different voices though after like watching the original series.
Yeah, because like, yeah, you can still watch season one back on Crunchyroll, but for the new season, you're only gonna end up watching it on Amazon.
Yeah.
So yeah, so back to the fight. It's like it's pretty much like pretty much a gigantic kaiju cat fight between Penny and Stocking, and they so like they just kept fighting until like they just all of a sudden stop because they're reminiscing on something they remember, and then they all of a sudden like they just turn back to normal, and then like they start like I guess they just made up immediately made up for for no reason, while everything else is like completely destroyed around them. And then Garterbelt invites them back, and then like invites the now I guess the now homeless like two demon girls to living alongside them now. And then Corset, who is the one who caused all this trouble, gets run over and killed um by Panty and Stocking with their car. So yeah, so they just end up going back home, and then like they just that's the episode.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
honestly, I don't know why they couldn't have just done this back in season one, because this
yeah.
does feel like almost like a real finale
I
episode for
Yeah, that's
for this
it's.
show.
I just thought about that. Like, it is weird how this is the first episode of season two, and now it's just like the last episode of season one. Instead, season one ends on like that weird cliffhanger, um, and then this like yeah, it feels like this is actually like the real ending. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess as a first episode, I mean, I enjoyed it. I like the humor and all that, but yeah, I definitely need to go back and watch season one just so I have a little bit more context for certain things.
Yeah, it's just a lot like
Yeah,
of sexual innuendo in a way, like like you saw it like right over there.
yeah,
But yeah, it's I still liked it. I mean, it's like it's there's not a lot going into like its main plot or anything. It's just you're just there to enjoy like the mayhem. Like it's like
right.
it's bad, but it's really good kind of stuff. You're just there to enjoy like all the chaos like on screen.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, similar to like FLCL, like it's just complete. A lot of it's like complete nonsense, but it's it's interesting to watch like the kind of like different animation art styles and the how well animated certain scenes are, and just like it seems like it's just like a lot of different ideas like kind of thrown at the wall, but in a way that they weren't really trying to take anything like seriously. It's all just kind of to add to the humor of it and the chaotic nature of the show. It seems like that's kind of the case with this show too. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing where it's gonna go from here. I like the humor and I really enjoyed FLCL, so I mean I really like that. This has a very similar feeling to it, obviously considering it's made by the same people, but yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It's 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 a fun show. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty much everything that I enjoyed back in season one, and I'm kind of glad that they finally addressed that cliffhanger back in season one, because I honestly I was a little bit worried of whether or not this is just going to be like a clean reboot or something like that. But it seems like this is going to follow up on the original series. It's a bit of a shame that it is licensed by a different company in comparison to Crunchyroll, which originally distributed this.
Well,
But
technically,
it's
it would have been Funimation,
yeah,
but Crunchyroll
yeah,
didn't really exist. But
yeah. I mean, they're more or less the same studio in a
well, yeah,
way.
now they
But
are. Yeah.
yeah, they are now. But yeah, it's. But yeah, well, I mean, I don't have much issue with the new casting. I mean, they're doing their best to emulate everything that was that that the previous cast did. But yeah, I still enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. That all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.